way sooner than it should as we begin things here in just a moment. Tin Fins is this deck that kind of broke out in Vegas a little while ago. It's crazy to think about this, but 2012. That's when that, yeah. Where's the time go? I don't even know. 2012, I remember watching Jacob Corey play this deck in Vegas, and he's a big fan of this deck, and the players who play it are as well. And again, it is this really interesting archetype that's really, really explosive, but it is so fragile.
I think that it's reasonable to think of it, think of it this way. There's Storm, and then there's Charbelcher, which is kind of a more extreme Storm deck. Tin Fins, it might be helpful to think of as there's Reanimator and then there's Tin Fins. It's a lot of the same package. It's a lot more vulnerable to a single Force of Will, but it is much faster.
Here's an Entomb. Now, whenever you're playing elves and you're
Riley's
playing
dead.
Yeah, whenever you're playing elves
Riley's dead.
and you're playing against someone who's playing Entomb, first of all, you're thinking, okay, well, Elish Norn, I'm probably dead. But when they're getting a Gristlebrand, this means you're even more dead. Riley is doing the cross your fingers dance right now.
I think he was saying, come get it.
He's ready.
He's motioning, yeah.
Okay. Like The Rock would do.
I've done this a lot in basketball games. This is a recipe to get dunked on.
Sure.
And I think we're about to see that analogy play out in Magic terms this turn.
Well, here's a Gristlebrand activation, so Riley is certainly going to get something this turn. Benjamin going to draw 7 cards and pay 7 life. If you've never seen Tin Fins in action, it uses Gristlebrand as more of a Yawgmoth bargain than an actual 7/7 creature.
Yeah, it's a completely different animal and just lethal the turn you play it. There's sometimes where you reanimate Gristlebrand in a traditional Reanimator deck. It gets hit with Swords of Plowshares, you draw 14 cards, you don't find the Force of Will, and the other deck can actually come back. That's one of the incentives of playing Tin Fins is once this happens, I mean, it's really hard to fizzle.
And the likelihood of them coming back after you draw 14 or potentially 21 cards as Petrino still does get the opportunity to attack, it's very unlikely. As here's a Gataxian Probe. Benjamin's going to go down to 3 as Riley tosses his hand over and says, take a look at all my elves.
Lands and creatures. All right, cool.
Riley playing a more honest game of Legacy here.
And it plays with effects like Shallow Grave because it wants to attack the same turn. It's all about speed. He's not really trying to reanimate or exhume these things like you see in Reanimator decks, because that presupposes that Benjamin wants to play a turn after he reanimates, which is not the case.
Yeah, that would be silly to do that.
Why bother?
Here comes Santa Claus. Riley's going to go down a little bit lower to 13. Benjamin's going to go up to 10. And the only reason that Benjamin's life total does matter here is because that's another activation of Gristlebrand. So 7 more cards. The big card he's looking to find here is Children of Corliss, and he's found one. But keep in mind, he's also already played a land for the turn, and he needs to be on the hunt for a card like Lotus Petal.
Yeah, I don't know if he has another way to kickstart the mana this turn. Now, Riley can't kill next turn.
He might, oh my goodness. He might not actually have a Lotus Petal.
No, I don't think he does.
There's a hand there of Dark Rituals, Lion's Eye Diamond, which is a spell. But after drawing 21 cards in a turn, I actually don't think that Benjamin has a copy of Lotus Petal. And now, oh boy, this is a touch awkward to say the least. Now he's figuring out what cards he's supposed to keep.
Yeah.
I've never seen this deck fizzle when going off. Wow.
Now remember, Benjamin's still not dead.
Oh yeah. Even though he's at 3.
Yeah. But this is an unlikely turn of events.
And Riley's not rocking any pump spells here. There's not a mutagenic growth hanging out in that deck list.
Looking. There's a Pendelhaven, but that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's a 2/2. Nope, not looking good.
Now, what's a little interesting here is what cards Benjamin is supposed to discard in this situation. He does have an Emrakul in his hand among the options, but Emrakul does shuffle the graveyard back in, so I don't know if he wants to do that or not. But he is certainly moving quickly here to figure out what cards he's going to keep and what cards he's going to discard. Now he will show off. These are the cards that I'm discarding. I do not believe Emrakul is among them.
No, I think he wants to keep his graveyard intact because there's a Gristlebrand amongst those cards, and it allows him to reanimate next turn.
Oh, Riley, you crossed your fingers. You got what you wanted. You made it to another turn. Make the most of it. Put you to 1. Curran going to follow up here with a copy of Birchlore Rangers. That's going to tap the Nettle Sentinel. Here's a Gaia's Cradle. This is a Green Sun Zenith, and that'll tap Nettle Sentinel. I imagine Deathrite Shaman, or Scavenging Ooze. Ooh, with the mana, I believe. Now, Birchlore Ranger, I believe, is you have to tap 2 elves. Yep, not two green creatures. Here's a Dark Ritual.
Yeah, I recall that being the case because I remember that thing not getting activated very much in draft.
Yep.
And if it was 2 green creatures at common, it would have come up all the time.
Yeah, I think so.
Unmorphing, snarling Underaxe, and so forth.
Nice that you remember the green Morse from Onslaught block.
Yep. Played a lot of Magic back then.
Was the Underaxe a 4/4?
3/3.
Small.
Could not be defeated.
So big.
It pumped itself. Forget about it.
Hello. So a couple Dark Rituals cast here by Petrino.
Some Burning Wishes in hand, too.
Though red mana may be an issue.
I mean, he's got the Petal, so he can fire off at least 1 here.
You can see he's had 2 Burning Wishes and Emrakul over there. But with the counting, you see this sometimes with Storm players and combo players where they confidently make their first moves, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, wait, did I mess up? Did I do something wrong?
He's got a lot of black mana floating, too. I mean, he's got the 2 Dark Rituals he's already cast.
And one thing I like is I actually like Riley searching up Scavenging Ooze in this situation because he can't actually activate it, but the threat of it might make Bobby think a little bit more, or excuse me, Benjamin think a little bit more when he's not supposed to.
I mean, it's the best thing he can do.
Yeah.
Nothing else really matters, and if somehow he gets the next turn and doesn't kill Benjamin as a consequence, then the Scavenging Ooze could be good.
There's Burning Wish. And what's interesting about this is that we have a situation here where Petrino can't Burning Wish crack LED if he's looking to reanimate something, because if that's the plan, he cracks LED, discards his hand. Emrakul is one of the cards that he discards.
Right, and
then everything gets shuffled in. Yeah, so he has to search for an Exhume now. How did we get here? Now he's going to Exhume Gristlebrand. So I wonder what's next. What a weird game.
Yeah, no kidding. And now Benjamin has to hold tight and hope that this is good.
What's interesting about this is, had Riley just searched up Deathrite Shaman, he probably would have won this game, which is, I don't know if he was supposed to do that, but it's just very kind of obscure that would have maybe gotten the job done here. And now all he can do is just play a Drydarp and just pass the turn back.
Yeah.
Shallow Grave the draw. Here's a Cabal Therapy.
Now he can Cabal Therapy himself on Emrakul with the trigger on the stack, Shallow Grave back to Emrakul.
But there will be a response to this, as there is an active Scavenging Ooze in play. So Scavenging Ooze is going to eat that Emrakul. So what is oftentimes an easy way to go about winning the game is stopped very quickly there by Riley. So now all of a sudden Scavenging Ooze looks good again.
And now we're in a spot where Riley could win this game with something as innocuous as like a natural order.
Yes, very easily. Now, Emrakul did hit the graveyard, so as a result, the trigger goes on. That's not going to stop, so Petrino's going to have to shuffle these cards back in. Which might be good or bad.
Well, you can see Riley there taking that opportunity to get rid of some of the cantrips he doesn't want Benjamin to draw. Just other reanimation spells, mana, that's what he wants Benjamin to draw at this stage.
Now, Gristlebrand, of course, can't get into the red zone. It's a 2-turn clock.
And he gains 7, and there's 7 points of damage in play on the way back. So if Riley has any way to pump, Benjamin dies.
Actually, 8 8 in play. You're missing the Dried Arbor that's hiding.
Oh, excuse me.
Amongst the trees, my
Yes.
friend. So maybe attacking isn't safe at all.
Yeah, so what most likely Benjamin has to do is pass, untap, hit with Emrakul, and with all of his mana, hopefully find some way to do something big.
Well, here's an attack with Gristlebrand. So 1 + 7 is 8. And perhaps what we're going to see here is Petrino make this attack and then activate Gristlebrand and hope for the best.
His hand's forced now. I mean, he's dead on the way back. So.
Yeah. So now it's time to draw 7, it looks like. You're going to crack this with a draw 7 on the stack. Now the tough part here is what color do you choose? And we'll get confirmation of what color he's choosing with the LED here in just a moment. As here comes 7 cards. He's back down to 1.
Yeah, there's just like mana and entombs.
Wasn't sure if there was potentials in there or not. I don't think there is. No, and that's going to, wow. I cannot believe that Riley Curran just won that game.
I bet Riley Curran can't believe it either.
But he did over Benjamin Petrino. Els is up a game here over 10 fins, and Benjamin's face tells the whole story. He can't believe it either.
Still time to get it turned around here, and a very good matchup still, but that one I felt got away from Benjamin.
Take a look at the sideboard here. We will look at Petrino's board of a show and tell 3 Duresses, a Thoughtseize, a Meltdown, a Reanimate, a Void Snare, a Pyroclasm, a Massacre, a Tendrils of Agony, an Empty the Warrens, an Exhume, and then 2 copies of Chain of Vapor.
So I guess this is just the Burning Wish package for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm sideboarding anything here.
Nothing of interest?
I think everything here, I guess the one card that I could see bringing in here is the Massacre, because I would never want to draw the Massacre. I would never wish for Massacre because I could just wish for Pyroclasm, but I wouldn't mind drawing a random Massacre at some point in the game.
I can see that.
You know, you're never going to Burning Wish for it.
Yeah.
But are you happy to draw it? This deck's got a boatload of mana. I can definitely hard cast a Massacre. That's probably the only thing I would do.
What do I see on Riley's side?
4 copies of Cabal Therapy, 2 copies of Thoughtseize, 4 Abrupt Decay, a Sylvan Library, a Scavenging Ooze, a Null Rod, a Meekstone, Umazawa's Jete. Pretty straightforward here. I like the 2 discard spells and the 4 therapies and the 2 copies of Thoughtseize, and the additional copy of Scavenging Ooze to attack Benjamin's graveyard.
Well, these players are going to shuffle up for game number 2. Going to be tough to top that first game, though, as that was an obscure one, but that's what makes Legacy great. We announced last weekend one of our big announcements that we've made so far in 2015. Grand Prix London going to be hosted by Star City Games. We're going to London.
We're very excited. This is the first time Star City Games has ever hosted a tournament like this outside of the United States, August 14th through 16th. Later this year, it's going to be standard format. We're going to have more information about the event as we get a little bit closer, once we get past Grand Prix Miami and our Season 1 and Season 2 invitationals. But we are extremely excited about this event. You and I will be there along with the rest of the Star City Games staff, and it should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a heck of a tournament, August 14th through the 16th. I am looking forward to going overseas. I have to top my experience that I had there in 2005, which was a miserable one, mostly through the fault of my own.
I 0-3'd my last draft to finish outside of the money.
Oof.
A 1-2 would have gotten it done. I think a 3-0 would have gravy trained me for like 2 years or something. It was a really rough 0-3.
Did you have the pleasure of playing with or against Umazawa's Jite at that tournament?
I did, in fact. I played against Steve Sadin, who did nothing in our. I knew that he had a Jite because of something something that got passed in one of the packs was a signal that he opened up Jite. We were sitting next to each other, and then his first play of our game was a turn 4 Ninja of the Deep Hours.
Nice.
And he very easily won that game with Jite on it the following turn.
Correct.
And I think the next game he also had Jite at some, like turn 6 or turn 7 after some anemic start, and it was still more than enough to kill me. I don't begrudge it, though. I had Jite in a sealed deck at a Grand Prix that ended up top 8ing, so I felt like I was on the winning side of the Jite proposition in that limited format.
See, many have played limited over the course of the years, and there have been quite a few bombs over the years of Magic, but the bombiest of bomb, maybe of all time, might be Umazawa's Jite.
I think it might be behind Pack Rat. I think Pack Rat might have been better.
Okay, all right, give me the context of that format.
Like, people lost with the Jite sometimes. Like, they had a Jite and 2 creatures. Their 2 creatures got killed, and they lost.
Sure.
That was the thing that happened. That really didn't happen very often with Pack Rat. I guess the other side of the argument is a turn 6 pack rat you can beat some percentage of the time, whereas a turn 6 Jite is still game over.
Pretty tough, yeah.
But a turn 6 pack rat was still really hard to beat.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're in the same conversation.
I would agree. I would agree.
Of Magic is the most fun game on earth, and this card makes the game not fun to play.
Yeah.
it's hard to get to that point.
I'm trying to rack my brain for some of the bombiest bombs ever in Limited. You know, I'm even thinking of a card like Moloku, which was very good, but it doesn't even come close to those two cards.
In its respective format, I think in modern day Magic it wouldn't be nearly as good because creatures have gotten better. It would still be awesome, but Phyrexian Processor was pretty much unbeatable in that format.
And we're waiting for your tweets over there at SCG Live, hashtag SCGINDY, for the bombiest bomb in Limited history.
I'm thinking. I mean, I played nearly every Limited format. I didn't play a lot of Mirage, and I didn't play a lot of Tempest Block, but everything else I've touched.
I've played I've of course played a healthy amount too when I was playing competitively for 8 years, and my brain is just kind of stopped right now. I remember the GT experience. Audible groans always. Here's a Gataxian Probe. Couple of lands here on Curran's side of the table. A Bayou, a Forest, and a Verdant Catacombs, along with a Cabal Therapy, a Heritage Druid, and a Wirewood Symbiote.
A fine mulligan, but this is still, you know, the type of hand where Riley can just get killed on the second turn. I know we saw that last game, but I think a really weird set of circumstances had to happen for Benjamin not to win that one.
Matthew Tatar chimes in with Equilibrium.
That's oh yeah.
He said it was fun beatable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Here is Cabal Therapy. We'll see a brainstorming response. Benjamin gonna hide some cards, excuse me.
Yep.
I remember using that one in the blue-green Madness Mirror, but never for Limited. Whenever you successfully cast a creature spell, you may pay one. Okay.
You lose the game.
Okay. You may pay one to return target. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is before Mythics.
Yes.
So you should just open this.
This is also before limited testing.
Good old Equilibrium. Okay, then.
Yeah, that's a fine choice. That card was in a core set, too. Oh, Opposition? Opposition's really high on the list.
Very nice. Here is Cabal Therapy. We will get confirmation on what that is naming here. You see the hand with a Thoughtseize, an Entomb, a Gristlebrand, a Lion's Eye Diamond, a Lotus Petal. Yeah, Scalding Tarn makes you wonder what he hid.
Yeah.
The name was Dark Ritual.
Yeah, Riley there, it's a weird situation because of the brainstorm. He can't name the absolute best cards that Benjamin can have because those would obviously be hidden by the brainstorm. So he has to go for a card that's good but not great. Dark Ritual qualifies.
Sprout Swarm is a card that has been chimed in.
Well, not even close.
Not even close,
Not
right?
even close.
Like, that card was miserable to play against, but not even close to the level of these cards. Yeah, Sphinx of Jar Isle, not even close.
Not in these cards leagues. I mean, Sprout Swarm, when you lost to it, was really frustrating. But in terms of raw power level, it is not in the classic cards we're talking about.
How do we feel about Living Death?
A fine choice. I think still a cut below some of the other cards, but at least it's a non-embarrassing answer.
Sure.
Sphinx of Drawer Isle is not even close.
Kindly leave.
Right.
That person's been playing Magic for 4 years or whatever.
They just lost a draft to Sphinx of Drawer Isle or whatever, and now they're mad about it. Jeskai Wind Scout. Because I just lost to 2 of those things. Really efficient.
Benjamin going to sacrifice Scalding Tarn and get himself a Badlands here.
Yeah.
Here's a Thoughtseize, so we'll take a look at Riley's hand. Heritage Druid was the new draw. Excuse me, Glimpse was the new draw, and that one's going to quickly leave.
Yeah, Benjamin's draw is a little bit on the slower side here, so if he takes away Riley's ability to kill quickly, he should be fine.
A couple artifacts going to come in, and a quick passing of the turn back to Curran. Curran draws the Nettle Sentinel. It's a bunch of mana. Some mentioning Masticore at home.
In its format, yes, Masticore would be a fine choice. But that's another consequence of creatures. If you printed Masticore in a current set, it would be quite powerful, and possibly the best rare in the set, but not a historically powerful rare.
Couple of spells there for Riley. Nettle, Sentinel, Wirewood, Symbiote, and just a passing of the turn back over to Petrino. Petrino will take a draw step. It's a Burning Wish. You see his hand, Dark Ritual, and Gristlebrand added to those.
I would imagine that a Burning Wish in this spot has to represent a kill. Or at least the worst case scenario is an Exhumed Gristlebrand.
Show and Tell is certainly an option too. So many doors that this card can go through.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, an Exhume here is an option as well.
It's less mana, and there's already a Gristlebrand in the graveyard, so. Exhume seems like the thing to do.
See if there will be a response here at all from Riley. And if Benjamin wants to crack his LED. Looks like he does. So he's going to crack his LED for some mana as he gets all those dice out there. Let's see what he's going to go searching for. It is the Exhume. A white bordered one at that.
Showing no respect for the game.
Yeah. It's tough to watch, really.
Tough to watch.
There is Exhume. Now Gristle. How did we get a white bordered one? How did this happen?
It's probably some like dual deck or something.
Ugh. Huh. I can't even look.
Not totally sure.
Here's a Gristlebrand activation. The
The
children are in hand now.
The Garfield versus Finkel dual deck, or I'm not sure.
Available at StarCityGames.com right now.
Probably not. They're pretty hard to find. I mean, Star City might have one, but I wouldn't say that willy-nilly because those things are hard to find.
Oh, we've got it. Penal's going to sacrifice for Children of Corliss. And this is the big one that kind of holds the glue together for this deck. You sacrifice it, you gain life equal to the life you've lost this turn. It's convenient. You get to draw these cards with Gristlebrand, gain the life back, and then keep going.
Yeah, so this generally results in the whole deck getting drawn or close to it, from which point the various rituals and Lotus Petals and whatnot should make it trivial to find a kill. But though, I said that game won, and Benjamin lost. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but I would expect Benjamin to be able to win this turn.
I would be surprised if he's not able to get the job done this turn. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, the Storm deck gets to draw 14 more cards this turn, so.
Couple Dark Rituals. He'll cast a Dark Ritual with the mana he has floating. It's the elevator going up. There's another Dark Ritual. Up to 6 mana, 7 spells. What else can he do? Now remember, Gristlebrand can't attack this turn because it was exhumed. So here's a Burning Wish.
Yeah, it seems like what Benjamin would ideally do is get some sort of tendrils related kill this turn.
He's going to cast Burning Wish. So he's got 1 red, 5 black floating, and this is spell number 8. So to the sideboard we go. And there is Tendrils of Agony.
And Riley's saying, you're going through the, I mean, Riley's not conceding.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. There's a Gataxian Probe. Spell 9. Riley says, I'm not going to show you any of my cards. Concede the game. So Benjamin Petrino will win game number 2 here against Riley Curran. Tin Fins and Elves are heading to a 3rd game. It's been a slog here for Petrino and what looks to be a pretty good matchup, but Curran's certainly making him earn it.
Yeah, for sure. Although even there, you know, we said Benjamin's draw a little bit on the slow side. That was still turn 3. So the slow side is still very fast for Benjamin's deck. And Elves just does not have a lot of disruption for this sort of thing. The discard spells help, but I think Tin Fins is probably more resistant against discard spells than the average combo deck here. If Riley can attack Benjamin's hand and then get Scavenging Ooze into play, it's asking a lot, but that's a very good game plan.
Well, game number 3 going to be underway between these two players in just a moment, but next weekend, the Open Series is going to be on hiatus, but for very good reason. Winter Regionals will be upon us 14 great locations to play.
Yeah, as you can see, we already have all the venues announced here, so you can check out which one is closest to you. You can also see up on the screen right here, we have the venues listed. You can head over to StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information. And keep in mind that the first 200 players to register for each regional championship will receive this free play mat.
The Squirrels are all together. It's Acorn Mystic, it's Force's Squirrel, it's Squirrel Storm, and it's Squirrel Confidant, all on one playmat called Squirrel Deathblade if you'd like, but it's free and exclusive to the first 200 players that do attend their winter regional. StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information. Plant your flag next weekend already.
So fast.
Crazy to think about. Open Series points, cash going to be on the line, whole bunch of stuff. I've got one a little, not terribly far from me down in Portland. Perhaps I make a drive next weekend.
I'm not going to be in the San Diego area, so I will not be attending the San Diego regionals.
It's that or go see the movies that are up for Oscar nomination, something I like to do with my good friend and member of WotC, Tim Ayton. We like to go to the movie theater and, not all the movies are basically out of theater. You have to, find the one where Whiplash is still playing or whatever that drummer movie is called. I don't even think it's Whiplash. I've probably butchered that, but I want to go see it. That's my point.
Okay.
And Tim and I are going to go see some of those that are available for Oscar nomination if I don't go to regionals. I know you're not much of a movie guy.
I'm not big on going to the theaters and checking out every single movie that comes out, movie guide. But if things come recommended to me, I'll sit down and watch.
Sometimes when I do movies, I do it all at once. I want to see like 3 movies in one day.
Sure.
Very rarely am I going to rush out to go see a movie. Mostly the superhero movies are the ones that get me, where I run out the door and I want to go see them.
Yeah. It's got the same problem that a Magic Online draft does.
Movies don't crash.
It's time consuming and there's no guarantee of fun. So it's very hard for me to sit down and,
just make that dedication.
Exactly. It's tough.
I see. Deathrite Shaman's going to start things off. Arguably the best card in the matchup for Curran.
Yeah. Well, this is part of the recipe. Attack Petrino's hand, get a fast clock into play, and attack the graveyard to keep Benjamin off of his combo.
Here's a Gataxian Probe. Take a look at the goods. There's a glimpse over there. Birchler Ranger, Cabal Therapy. There's also a Cradle and another copy of Deathrite Shaman. So Riley's hand was a snap keep, as the kids like to say. Oh, now people are bringing the heat.
What?
With busted limited cards. Kakusho, the Evening Star.
You can't count 6 mana spells. Because there's just too many games of Magic, someone doesn't get to 6 mana. They don't count.
Glare of Subdual, I throw that right out the window.
It's a fine choice, but worse than opposition.
I'm not going to read the rest of these.
Okay.
They're not up there.
It's like 7 and 8 mana creatures.
Desecration Demon is just not even close to...
Desecration
Demon is the same set as Pack Rat.
Right. Desecration Demon, you've been playing Magic for not that long.
We still like you.
Yeah.
But you're just new to the game.
It's okay.
You never had to play against Equilibrium before, which would make you probably want to quit the game.
Right. That's why you're here, probably.
Here's an Entomb.
Whoa. Is Riley's turn 1 Deathrite Shaman on the play just not even going to be a thing?
You think that's good? I'll show you good.
And Benjamin's got the dice out, too. Not a good sign.
You don't think this is the dice bluff?
No.
You don't have that read here? Oh, there's a Shallow Grave. Good read, Patrick. Not the dice bluff.
Listen, I've been out of tournament Magic for a little while, but I can still sense it, And he's still got a Lotus Petal left over.
He sure does.
Which is really important. He needs something to be able to grease the wheels here on his Dark Rituals and what have you.
Yeah. It's important to be able to cast Children of Corliss as well.
To draw 21 cards.
So this will be the first 7.
Yeah.
Now, the entire point of the Tin Fins decks, for those of you who've never seen it before, the goal of this deck was actually Ursul Brand banned in Legacy. And this deck put up some nice performances upon its arrival, but very quickly people learned that this deck is very fragile.
This is another version of Belcher.
Yeah.
It's the Storm build of the Reanimator build of Belcher, excuse me.
Though it can kill someone on turn 1, as that's what it looks like
we're
we're
turn
watching.
1 kill.
Yeah.
If there was a Force of Will in Riley's opening hand, the deck would be done for.
Yep.
Much like Belcher, a good percentage of his hands. But when you play in these kind of matchups, the deck is really hard to beat.
A couple of Dark Rituals here. 8 spells so far. Here's a Burning Wish. Gonna go get a Tendrils. with enough mana to cast the tendrils.
And a combat step left.
Yeah, sure, that was easy. And all you can do is grin and bear it. Benjamin Petrino is going to win this game and match over Riley Curran. 2-1. Tin Fins destroys Elves and moves on to 5-0.
Turn 1 Deathrite on the play. Not even close to good enough.
You thought that hand was good?
It's about it's the best thing Riley can do. I don't know if it's good, but he's not doing much better.
You got to snipe him with the Cabal Therapy, man.
Yeah. I mean, even if there's a discard spell in his opening hand there, I think Riley's better served. Play the Deathrite Shaman. Hope that he doesn't have to kill, because there's no guarantee that a turn 1 Cabal Therapy also stops you from getting killed on turn 1.